would be right there as one of the most important people that has ever lived on earth. And his influence has touched everyone. GP has just spoken about how it has influenced his father, his business to this day, creating one of the biggest businesses in the world, one of the most successful businesses in the world, through the inspiration of Mahatma Gandhi. And he was not, as you said, GP, a businessman, but I don't know, a lot of people don't realize, if I'm not mistaken, he was the founder of the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, FICCI. If you go to the FICCI headquarters in Delhi, there's Mahatma Gandhi's picture and a saying from him, and he founded it because he realized business was good. And the thing about him, my wife is South African. His formative years in South Africa, he spent over 2.5 decades there, fighting, being chucked off the train, the stories we've all heard about, but what he did there, what he did to build up that peaceful resistance. And then coming here, he also, by the way, served in the First World War as a stretcher bearer. Then he came to India, and it was about 10 years later, in 1990, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place. That really spurred on Mahatma Gandhi to go even more for the freedom of India. It took him almost another 3 decades to achieve that. So one of the lessons is somebody like him is one of the greatest people that ever lived, but it was a lifelong journey. It was a lifelong effort. It was not an overnight story. And it was a sustained commitment. And if you go to Sabarmati Ashram, where he lived for many years, it is the most amazing, inspirational place. And some of his sayings are there, and one of the sayings that is there, we all know the story about David against Goliath, how David beat Goliath. Well, there was this one man who took on the whole of the British Empire. And there was his saying, right versus might. And right triumphed. And my own family story, I chaired the Zoroastrian All-Party Parliamentary Group, and he was a great friend of the Parsis. He would always say the Parsis, in numbers beneath contempt, but in contribution beyond compare. And the philanthropy that Raj speaks about in this brochure, that Chris Parsons is doing now, raising almost $500,000, the philanthropy he acknowledged of the Parsi community, of which I'm very proud. And just before I conclude, a little personal story. GP spoke of his father being a disciple. My great-grandfather, Karan Bilimoria, was a senior police officer. When I say senior, I think he rose to becoming a senior inspector in Balsam. And one of his duties, sadly, on 3 occasions, was to arrest Mahatma Gandhi. Once when he arrested Mahatma Gandhi, Gandhiji, he was taken him to jail, and Raj spoke of the 19 times he's been to jail. I think my great-grandfather was responsible for some of those. And so when he was taken to jail, Gandhiji said, can I just drop in and see my friend in that house before you lock me up? So my great-grandfather said, yeah, go ahead. So Gandhiji said, what if I don't come back? He said, no, I trust you. He went to see his friend, he came back, and he was locked up. Now, by the way, my great-grandfather made a Khan Bahadur because of this. Fast forward to independence, 1947, and Gandhiji was in Calcutta. There was a lot of Hindu-Muslim violence going on there.